I'm here to tell you how I cured my high blood pressure and gout in less than 3 months with the fast-mimicking diet and a low-carb diet. I'll give you the details in a minute, but it really wasn't that difficult to do. For the fast-mimicking diet, you need to limit your calorie intake to 750 calories per day for 5 days with no animal products. And then to maintain the benefits of the fast-mimicking diet, you need to adopt a low-carb diet. And for the low-carb diet, you need to limit your carb intake to 100 grams per day with no processed food and no added sugar. Now for some specifics about the fast-mimicking diet. The fast-mimicking diet was designed and studied by Walter Longo. I'll put the link to his foundation below. You should have a look because the studies show extraordinary benefits. Fasting may prove to be the cure for all kinds of age-related diseases. Now, since the fast-mimicking diet was only recently created, it will be years before long-term real-life studies can be done. But the current studies show incredible improvements in many biomarkers, including blood pressure. And all you need to do is limit your calories to 750 calories per day with no animal products and roughly equal calories between carbs and fat. You can buy a 5-day package from the foundation for $225 or $250, or you can just do it yourself. For my version, I typically eat an avocado for breakfast or lunch and then a bowl of steamed veggies for dinner with some berries and nuts for snacks. The key to my version of the low-carb diet is to limit carbs to no more than 100 grams per day, completely eliminate all processed foods and foods with added sugar, and to reduce the intake of high glycemic response foods such as grains, starchy vegetables, beans and legumes, and fruits other than berries. I started with my low-carb approach to the fast-mimicking diet and added some animal protein and a few hundred calories from fruits and nuts. Just a few months ago, I was successfully controlling my high blood pressure and gout with medicines, but I could tell I wasn't really that healthy, and I really believed a heart attack or stroke was in my near future. I was becoming very weak with no stamina and limited ability to tolerate stress. I tried to find answers by going to many different types of doctors, all to no avail. I believed I was eating a healthy diet. After all, I was eating almost no fat and very little animal protein, but how wrong I was. I now know that my diet was really bad. I was eating lots of processed foods, lots of carbs, lots of added sugar. And whenever I stopped taking my blood pressure or gout medicines, my blood pressure would soar to over 150 over 100, sometimes even higher. And within 3 days, my gout pain would start back. But now I'm completely off all medications, and I feel as though my risk for a heart attack or stroke is dropping fast. I'm off of my blood pressure medicine, and my blood pressure is now usually around 115 over 70. I've been off my gout medicine for months with not one gout attack. There's one important exception to this that it's worth telling you about. Over this past Christmas, I completely went off my low-carb diet, eating all kinds of processed foods, foods with added sugar, and high glycemic response foods. Within just 10 days, my blood pressure soared to the high levels that I had before, and my feet started hurting with gout pains. So I started back on the fast-mimicking diet and low-carb diet. Within just 2 months, my blood pressure was back to normal, and my gout pains were gone. I really don't know exactly which changes produced these great results. It could have been the elimination of processed foods, or the restriction on total calorie intake, or the restriction on calories from carbs, which for me is effectively a keto diet. One theory I have is that I may be particularly sensitive to high fructose corn syrup, and my success is primarily due to the elimination of high fructose corn syrup from my diet. Or it could be the limitation on carb intake. I did daily monitoring of my blood ketone level for several weeks, and it turns out that I was regularly in ketosis or very close to it at all times. Now, if you want to monitor your blood ketone levels, I recommend the Keto Mojo blood test kit. The test strips are $50 for 50 strips, which is a little expensive. The urine strips are much cheaper, but they are apparently not nearly as accurate as the blood testing. I intend to do some more experimenting with my low-carb diet to see if I can maintain the benefits while loosening up to include certain other foods such as whole grains, sweet potatoes, beans, or other fruits like apples, pears, and maybe even melons. If I find anything useful, I may make another video. I have made some other changes too. I am convinced that nearly everyone is deficient in both D3 and K2, and studies show that there's virtually no risk to overdosing with D3 or K2, so I see no reason not to supplement. The D3 and K2 are vitally important to long-term health because they are responsible for transporting calcium from your soft tissues to your bones and teeth. And if you're deficient, the calcium just stays in your soft tissues, which can lead to calcification of those tissues, including hardening of the arteries, especially your heart arteries. I also believe that the benefits from regular exercise, sauna, and cryotherapy have been extensively studied, and extremely positive health benefits have been well documented. If you have success with my approach, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions, put a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you with an answer if I have one. Finally, I want to acknowledge my gratitude for the great work done in these fields by Walter Longo, Rhonda Patrick, and Chris Kresser.